Sit at my grave, Chapter 7. The phone shined a soft glow on Arden's face. He looked up briefly at the sky, noticing thick clouds rolling in. He sighed and looked back down at his phone, dialing Gallant's number. He stood there in the dark parking lot alone, his mind still festering from earlier. He was sick of Reed, his nonchalant attitude towards everything, the way he had the audacity to get upset when Arden insulted his band. That made him even more angry. Arden had real important research that he did, while as far as he considered it, Reed was just making a lot of noise with that van. "Arden, is everything okay?" Gallant's tired voice answered. "Can you pick me up?" Arden asked. He heard movement from Gallant's side, probably getting out of bed. "Where are you? It's so late," Gallant questioned, still groggy with confusion. "I'll text you the address," Arden told him. Yeah, okay, sure," Gallant responded, trying to wake himself up. Arden knew Gallant must have gone to sleep much earlier, but if there was anyone he could count on, even at such an inconvenient time, it was Gallant. It took a while. Arden ended up sitting down on the curb waiting, one hand cupping on his face while the other scrolled through his phone. It was eerily dark out by now, and quiet rumbling of thunder could be heard in the distance. Even with the threat of a storm, Arden wasn't going back in there. As Arden began sighing again, hearing the thunder getting louder, headlights shined on him. First he got on guard, but relaxed when he heard Gallant's voice call for him through the car window. Arden walked up to the car, hopping in the passenger seat. He slammed the door behind him. Gallant immediately put his hand on his shoulder, frowning in concern. "Are you okay? Why are you out here all alone?" Gallant asked. Reed was being an idiot. He left me here," Arden lied. He shouldn't be lying to Gallant, especially after he showed up with no questions asked. But he knew for a fact if he told Gallant that he had fought with Reed and stormed out, he would try to persuade him into making up rather than running away. Arden would get annoyed with Gallant when he tried to spew advice to him all the time of the importance of family. Gallant was called emotionally intelligent by a lot of people, but Arden just thought of it as him being naive. He chalked it up to Gallant's family just being better than his was, which is why he cared about them so much. It was an annoying bubble that Arden couldn't stand sometimes. "Left you here? Really?" Gallant questioned in confusion. "Yeah, you know how he is. Now can we go? It's late," Arden said. "Yeah, sure. Sorry about that. Guess that's why you wanted me to go in the first place," Gallant said with a slight chuckle, although now he was feeling guilty about not accepting the invitation earlier. "It's all good," Arden muttered. Gallant backed up and drove onto the road, getting away from the parking lot now. The two didn't talk as much as normal. Arden was still pretty steamed from earlier, and Gallant was sleepy and focusing on the road. Gallant eventually got him home. Before Arden could get out of the car, his phone lit up. Reed was calling him. "Who's that?" Gallant asked. Arden put his phone in his pocket, hiding it. "Random number. Anyways, I'll see you tomorrow, dude. Good night," Arden told him. "Alright. Be safe, man. Good night," Gallant responded, grabbing him to a one-arm hug. They let go of each other, and Arden left out, waving to him one last time before he entered the house. He heard Gallant drive off after that. The house was pretty dark and quiet. He wasn't sure if Renly was even home at the moment, but he didn't mind. He wanted to be alone. He was tired of dealing with all that stupidity. He felt dumb for even trying to go to that party. He and Reed were two different people. Even if they had a somewhat better relationship when they were younger, Arden now viewed that as a waste of time. Arden rounded the corner, going into his room, slamming the door shut. He was frustrated. He didn't have anyone who really understood where he was coming from. It made him crazy. He just wanted to dive into his studies. Pouring his mind into that blocked out everything else. All the meaningless nonsense. Slowly his hand moved across the sheet. He slid it under his pillow, grabbing his book. Arden frowned when he felt it and pulled it out. It was open on a page, although he remembered shutting it before he left. Who would have? Arden pondered. The only person he knew that came around his room and didn't respect his privacy was Reed. Arden's finger clenched around the book, thinking of him. Some brother. He was just as bad as the people at school. He had the nerve to think it was all funny. Arden sighed, trying to calm down, but as he flipped through, he saw where his book's page had been torn out. Read again. He tore it, just for a stupid joke. After all that time he took to find it, Reed tore his book like it was nothing. Thinking of that made Arden recall what he and Gallant were trying to do in the first place. We never even got to finish, but it didn't matter. There were plenty of other things he could read about and try to conjure up within the book. Book of Edelon Maledictio, Arden muttered to himself. He sat there with the book light in the otherwise dark room and began immersing himself in the pages. He decided to check the section the book had been flipped to when he got there, just to see what it was. Clarity despite the judgment's eyes, bathe yourself within your heart's yearnings, forward march into self-seat, comprehension held away, expand thy world, as the feeble-minded glorified flower dost wilt. Arden read. Arden furrowed his brows as he read it again. What did it mean exactly? He wasn't sure, but the warmth he felt and the tingle in his head made him keep going. He loved soaking in information like this. Real information. Least likely to succeed, Arden thought with a scoff. Half the people who voted on that for his yearbook were probably the same ones who would be completely lost after they're out of school, without teachers and parents to praise their every moment. Arden thought haughtily. Especially people like Reed. Arden snuggled down and continued reading, blocking other things out. He saw Reed's name and number appear on his phone a few times during his reading session, but he only rolled his eyes and continued on, ignoring him. The sound of a horn broke Arden out of his daze he had gotten stuck in. Over an hour had passed by now. It was late, and the thunder he'd heard earlier had only gotten louder. Lightning shined through his bedroom window every now and then. Arden put his book down, frowning. Who could have been honking that late at night? His mother wasn't home, and Galen had already went home a long time ago. Arden walked out of his room, putting a coat on. He peeked out the window, trying to see if he could recognize the car. "What are you doing here?" Arden asked, walking out aggressively. Reed's car was pulling up. He finally stopped honking once Arden came out, and was now getting out of the car himself, both seeming ready to face off.